Welcome to the grand finale of our Explainer series on the Kenyan Constitution. I am absolutely thrilled you're here with us. Over the course of this journey, we've unpacked practically the whole shebang, from the Bill of Rights to the powers of the president and even the devolution of county governments. But today we tackle the final, crucial puzzle piece. It's a chapter that often flies completely under the radar, yet it quite literally holds the entire document together.
Okay, let's start by diving into a pretty relatable question. Think about the last time you downloaded a new app or signed up for a service online. You probably scrolled right past those endless terms and conditions and just blindly clicked, I agree, right? Well, we all do it. But ignoring the fine print in the Constitution? Yeah, that can completely change the outcome of massive national decisions. So today, we're taking a close look at Chapter 17, the General Provisions, which acts exactly like that all-important fine print.
Think of this explainer as your ultimate user guide. Here's our roadmap for today. Number 1, the overlooked fine print. 2, who can take action. 3, the rules of interpretation. 4, why definitions actually matter. And 5, the series finale, your Constitution.
Let's jump right into Section 1, the overlooked fine print.
Just like a brand new phone comes with a manual telling you exactly how to set it up, Chapter 17 is the essential user guide for the Republic of Kenya. It gives the courts, the government, and everyday citizens the exact step-by-step instructions on how to read the constitutional rulebook consistently. Because think about it for a second. If a judge over in Mombasa and a governor in Kisumu interpret the rules of the Constitution completely differently, the whole system just breaks down, right? This chapter ensures everyone is reading from the exact same page, creating the predictability and stability that a democracy needs.
Moving right along to Section 2, who can take action?
Now this is really fascinating. If we look at Article 258, we see exactly who holds the power to enforce these rules in court. In a lot of older legal systems, you could only go to court if you were personally injured or directly affected, but not anymore. This brilliant list proves that you don't just have to be defending yourself. You can step up for a child or someone who cannot act in their own name. You can sue on behalf of a specific marginalized group. You can even bring a case purely in the general public interest to stop a constitutional violation. It literally empowers every single Kenyan to be a guardian of the Constitution.
Which brings us to Section 3, the rules of interpretation.
Look at this absolutely incredible phrase from Article 259. The law is always speaking. I love that. This powerful legal doctrine means the Constitution isn't just some dead historical document stuck back in the year 2010. No, it's a living, breathing guide. It means that the functions and powers conferred by the document are meant to be exercised by office holders as the occasion requires today, adopting to modern, real-world circumstances while keeping its core principles perfectly intact.
So the crucial takeaway here is that anytime there's a debate or a clash in the text, it has to be resolved by looking directly at this specific compass. Judges and political leaders can't just cherry-pick the interpretation that benefits them politically. They are legally bound to choose the interpretation that advances good governance, promotes human rights, and upholds the rule of law. Oh, and here's a fun little aside from the fine print. If the English and Swahili versions of the Constitution ever clash, Chapter 17 explicitly states that the English version prevails to settle the tie.
And this brilliantly illustrates how a tiny, seemingly boring procedural detail can have massive real-world consequences. Let's talk about calculating legal deadlines. Say you're filing a massive election petition, and the clock is ticking. Under Article 259, you don't count the actual day the triggering event happens. And get this, if the total deadline is 6 days or less, Sundays and public holidays do not count. This tiny piece of constitutional math can single-handedly determine if a major election challenge or court filing is legally valid or just thrown out on a technicality. The fine print really does matter, folks.
All right, on to Section 4, why definitions matter.
While everyday conversations allow words to be, kind of flexible and subjective, the Constitution demands strict, universally agreed-upon meanings. Think about it. If we relied on slang or conversational definitions when deciding who gets government funding or who gets arrested, we'd have absolute chaos on our hands. Strict constitutional meanings prevent massive, completely unnecessary legal disputes over citizens' rights.
For instance, who exactly is a youth? In casual conversation, you might politely call a 40-year-old youthful, but the Constitution, it draws a hard line. You are a youth from your 18th birthday right up until the day before your 35th birthday. The moment you hit 35, legally, you are no longer a youth. Knowing this strict definition ensures that affirmative action, special government funds, and targeted rights flawlessly reach the exact demographic intended, without any ambiguity or people trying to game the system.
It's the exact same logic for defining disability. By clearly laying out this incredibly comprehensive definition, which includes physical, sensory, mental, and psychological conditions, the Constitution guarantees precise protections. It leaves absolutely no room for debate or discrimination by state officers when it comes to defending fundamental freedoms, ensuring access to buildings, or filling employment quotas for vulnerable communities.
Now, understanding exactly what constitutes a public office is a real game changer for fighting corruption. By strictly defining it as any office paid directly from the consolidated fund or by Parliament, it clarifies precisely who works for the citizens. It basically means if you pull a salary from the public purse, you are strictly accountable to the supreme constitutional rules on leadership and integrity. No exceptions, no loopholes.
And finally, Section 5, our series finale, Your Constitution. As we wrap up this explainer series, from Chapter 1 all the way to Chapter 17, these are the 5 core takeaways that pulse through every single page. Sovereignty ultimately belongs to you, the people. Your human rights and fundamental freedoms matter deeply. Leadership is a service that demands strict accountability, not a privilege. Public resources belong entirely to the citizens, and independent institutions are the vital guardrails of our democracy. These takeaways prove that this document isn't just for politicians debating in Parliament or lawyers arguing up in the Supreme Court. The fine print is the ultimate tool that shapes your daily life, provides predictability, and actively protects your democracy.
So I want to leave you with this. Which chapter of the Constitution surprised you the most over the course of this series? And more importantly, now that you actually know the rules, what are you going to do to enforce them? Because at the end of the day, this Constitution is only as powerful as the citizens who demand it be upheld. Keep questioning, keep learning, and as always, keep exploring the fine print.